What's the best news that turned bad? After struggling for years, I finally landed my dream job at a tech company. The salary was triple what I was making, and they even offered stock options. I immediately called my dad to share the good news. Ever since mom died when I was 12, dad raised me alone. He worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table and make sure I could go to college. He always told me education would open doors neither of us could imagine. When I called him about the job offer, he sounded tired but happy. "I'm so proud of you, kiddo," he said. "This calls for a celebration dinner. My treat." I laughed because his treat usually meant the cheap diner where he knew the owner. That evening, I drove to his small apartment, the same one we'd lived in since I was a kid. I had big news to share. With this salary, I could finally buy him the house he always dreamed of, the one with a yard where he could garden. He loved growing vegetables, but had to make do with a few pots on his tiny balcony. When I arrived, his car wasn't there. Strange. Dad was never late, especially when he was excited about something. I called his phone, but it went straight to voicemail. I figured he might be running late from work, so I waited in my car. After 30 minutes, I got worried and used my spare key to check his apartment. Everything looked normal. Coffee mug in the sink, newspaper folded neatly on the table, his reading glasses next to his favorite chair, but no sign of Dad. Just then, his neighbor, Mrs. Chen, knocked on the door. "Oh good, you're here," she said, looking relieved. "Your dad collapsed at the grocery store about an hour ago. They took him to Memorial Hospital." My heart dropped. I raced to the hospital, barely remembering the drive. At the emergency room, a nurse directed me to a small waiting area where a doctor was already waiting for me. "Your father suffered a major heart attack," she explained softly. "He mentioned he was rushing to meet you for a special dinner. We did everything we could, but the damage was too extensive." I stood there frozen as she continued talking about passing peacefully and not feeling pain. All I could think about was how excited he'd been on the phone, how proud he sounded. Later that night, I found a small gift bag in his car. Inside was a card that read, "To my amazing kid on your big day. No one deserves this more than you." Underneath was a small silver keychain with the logo of my new company. 2 days later, I sat in his empty apartment holding that keychain, realizing the bitter truth. After all his sacrifices to give me a better life, he never got to enjoy any of it himself. The job that was supposed to change both our lives came just 1 day too late to save his. I start my new job next week. The first thing I'm doing with my signing bonus is paying for the funeral. The second is buying that house with the garden. I'll plant tomatoes, just like he always wanted.